Today I'm meeting a Singaporean with an extremely interesting career in life. He used to work in network infrastructure, then became a bus driver, and then moved to KL, Malaysia to be involved in agriculture. Why did he leave Singapore? What's his life like? Is he happier in Malaysia? Let's go say hi to him. Hey Andrew!
Hi.
Nice to meet you, man. Wow, so this is your condo you're staying at, huh?
I think this is like one of the older condos in this area. I've been here before, like when I was like 5 or 6, so I have this very like deja vu every time I walk here.
Oh yeah, you told me you're half Malaysian?
Yeah, so my mom is Malaysian.
Oh,
so
cool.
I have a lot of family in Malaysia, which is like a bit of a life hack. Like it's a lot easier.
Ah, yeah, true.
When you have family
oh, and this is
here.
the pool. Do you use it?
I don't use it.
Yeah, this typical people living in condo.
Okay, I don't use it because I prefer the beach. Actually, like you could even say like the reason I moved here is for the beaches on the East Coast. So, welcome to
Thank you.
my home.
Whoa, nice. Andrew, first impression is humongous. You know, you're living the dreams of Singaporeans. You're living here alone, right?
Yes.
Insanely huge. So it's 2 bedrooms and a huge living room, got kitchen. What's the market rate per month?
I think the market rate for something like this would be around 2,000 if you have the whole place, 2,000-ish.
That's 700 Singapore dollars.
I
around.
think so. But I think the easier way to think about it is actually you just take it dollar for dollar as Singapore dollars.
Yeah, correct.
Because
True.
the average salary here is the starting salary is like 4,000 ringgit.
Can you do a simple tour?
Sure, I do cook a lot here. It gets very oily.
I want to try to find something Singaporean. But the thing is, I don't like recognize, is this a Singaporean only thing or also Malaysia? Because we share similar culture, right? Got some nice chips. Can I open the fridge?
Yeah, of course. If you would like to look at my leftovers.
Wow, you cook a lot, huh?
The most Singaporean thing is I got a letter from the CPF here. Because I moved here a year ago, right? So like I stopped contributing to my CPF in Singapore.
Oh yeah, no need to pay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a retirement plan, but you don't have that.
Actually, Malaysia has a system called EPF, which is basically the same as
Oh,
CPF.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is that foreigners used to not have to pay that, but they just made it mandatory. So now I've got a savings plan here also.
And this is your humongous living room. Got some fun things. PS5. Let me check out your bedroom.
So it's ironing with a view.
Humongous bedroom, amazing. So would you say your life is more comfortable here?
I would say no, but I left Singapore because I want discomfort. I'm not saying Malaysia is not comfortable, I'm just saying that I'm looking for something uncomfortable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later. So first thing first, can you walk through your career? Because you became a bus driver at one point, right?
It was kind of like a career break because that was like after 8 years of working for Amazon.
You wanted to take a break and that was the bus driver for you.
Yes, actually, while I was working at Amazon, the last couple of years that I was working there, I was also like streaming games on Twitch, and I was playing bus simulator games.
And that got you interested.
I was like, why not?
You're so like YOLO type, huh?
I mean, you have to be a bit YOLO to end up here. So.
Was it easy to get a job there? Lots of exams, right?
So they are very strict about that. Like, they won't let you drive 30 people around without, going through it.
You know, like when I when I read news online, there's always like people fighting in the bus and like the bus drivers getting scolded. Did any of that happen to you?
There's this like very viral lady on like Stomp and TikTok and everything who puts her leg up. She is a regular on my bus. Okay, so I will tell you that she never pays her fare, never. She doesn't have a card, so like she has a little pouch where like she pretends to like tap it. So when I tell her like, ma'am, sorry, I think like, it didn't read, can you try again? Like she will scream at you.
How many years did you do that?
I was driving the bus for 1 year. If I had to choose one career to do for the rest of my life, it would be bus driving. I would say like you kind of feel like firstly like it's a service job and like you can really make a very powerful impact on people. When you go home and you sleep, like you sleep with a very clear conscience.
Nice,
so it's a really wonderful job.
But you love it so much, but you decided to quit and move to KL. Why?
Yes. Okay, so firstly, it's very tiring. There's no getting around it. It's very, very tiring of a job. The kind of schedule I was driving is like 10 hours, 50 minutes a day. So it's a lot of time to be on the road. I really respect that some of the bus captains who are like, I think 60-ish, 50-ish years old, they can do it. And me as a young person, I just cannot. It was like 1 year of like back aches. So at the end of the day, I was like, I don't think my body can take this anymore. So I decided to look elsewhere.
Sorry for the interruption, just a quick one. Our sake brand Sake Ichiban is having a CNY promo. For every purchase of either a 720ml bottle or our sake gift box, you'll get a free Japanese furoshiki wrapping for orders placed by 28th February. We also added 2 new furoshiki designs, so now there are 3 designs in total, and you'll receive a random design with your order. Honestly, I personally think it will make a perfect CNY gift. People love our locally inspired designs and the unique flavors of our sake. We have about 5 local label designs, but my favorite is the Dragon Playground label because there is a Sakura cherry blossom tree inside, making it perfect for the CNY season. I have more info in the video description box below.
So I worked for 6 months at another like tech company in Singapore. Maybe because I came from like being a bus captain, I started to feel like, it's not very meaningful. It was also an infrastructure job. But at that point, I was kind of feeling like I want to do something a bit more meaningful.
What is meaningful for you?
What I felt about meaningful is that I want to do something that is going to sound a bit shallow, but like it's better for mankind. The job I was in, it was also in broadband. So like I started out doing fiber networking actually. So I worked for a telco in Singapore at the start. So I kind of went back to that. I was feeling like we are selling people things they don't need sometimes. I started to feel a bit like we're losing touch with like we're bringing people services and more like I want to sell you services. So after a while I was a bit disillusioned and I started like looking around.
And what led you to this job in KL? Were you deliberately looking for a job in KL or it just happened to be in KL?
I was actually looking for jobs in farming in Singapore as well. I went to like Chua Chu Kang, to Neo Tiew,
all the ulu places.
Yeah, all the ulu places because I used to go cycling a lot. So I actually did the very like, I think most people my age don't do this, but I went like door to door. So what made me very sad is like no one answered the door. I didn't give up, so I went to all their websites. I started emailing everyone, WhatsApping everyone. Didn't get a reply.
In the first place, what kind of job did you want to get in agriculture? Like actually like planting and stuff or?
I'm always going to be a technology guy, so for me it's like, how can we bring technology into traditional farming? Basically, farms already have people doing that. So it doesn't help for a Singaporean to go there and start putting plants in the ground. We don't think of farms as like, your backyard of like, you can stand there and check that everything's okay. So like the scale at which my employer is doing stuff is like hundreds of km. Right now, it's more of like, how can we use technology to give us an early warning if something's gonna happen and then send people there.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically my job, is putting sensors, visual stuff, and all kinds of things to just watch the plants for us.
So it's not like you wanted to leave Singapore. It's just that they didn't have the opportunity for you lah.
You could say I'm someone who's easily bored or someone who doesn't want to be comfortable. I don't know if that's so unique, but I think living in Singapore, I always felt like it's too comfortable. So for my job at Amazon, I traveled a lot, to Japan, to Korea, but also to India and to like, all these different countries. And I always felt like, if I stay in Singapore, right, I'm gonna get comfortable.
Yeah.
And secondly, like some of the countries that I've been to, like I know I cannot survive there if I, bring my Singaporean mindset and my Singaporean immune system there.
Okay.
Frankly, so for me, it's very like, I don't want to get comfortable because I can't survive in the world after that.
I mean, in a way, being comfortable it's a blessing, right?
It is a real privilege.
Yeah, but maybe like when you're still young, you want to be challenged physically, mentally, and you want to experience the world.
Yeah, that's right. I think, something that I really think we just take so much for granted in Singapore.
Definitely.
Like the fact that you have clean water. My goodness. Like some of the places I've been, it's like you either bring your own bottle of water or you drink something that came from the river.
But what have you learned, like leaving Singapore?
Firstly, I would say that being in Malaysia is not that different from Singapore. So I already have the easy experience, there's people who are living in countries that are much more different.
Yeah.
But I think leaving Singapore, maybe some of my comments are specific to Malaysia, but what I learned is that in Singapore, you can rely on the government for most things. I would say like for very basic things like shelter, transport, or even like if you need help on a very personal level, like you have MSF and you have places to go to for help. And being in Malaysia, I mean, whether you're a local or not, it's very different. A lot of the times it's you, your friends, your neighbors. So I think that's something very different is that, and something I notice about Malaysia is that people are very helpful to people who need help.
Yeah, that's something I noticed. You know, like people in Malaysia, they are more chill, relaxed. Because in Singapore, it's all about efficiency.
Yes.
Right? I mean, being efficient is great, but I think the society is sacrificing human warmth and soul. Like if you go to a hawker center, even at a restaurant, first word they will say, "What do you want?" Right?
Yeah.
It's like it's efficient lah. But like it's like, can I say hi to you? It's like, how's your day? Do you feel like even in KL, it's more warm here? The people?
Maybe my perspective is a bit skewed because I was a bus captain, but I do have a story from there also. I have a bus captain colleague. I used to joke with him like, like, hey, why aren't you more friendly with the passengers?
Yeah.
And then he told me, when I first started, like when he first started 1 month into the job, he said good morning to some auntie boarding the bus.
Yeah.
And she scolded him. So she was like, what do you mean good morning? What's so good about this morning? And then from that day onwards, he never said good morning to anyone again. So I think we kind of like created this society, so I'm a bit sad about it lah. In Malaysia, my experience has been that people don't have a temper, Like when people are friendly to you, if you're having a bad day, you don't say anything, right?
I mean, it's also probably because of the dense population and maybe
dense
the
population,
stressful.
correct, the stress.
KL is a big city, but I see a mountain from here. Like it's next level. Do you think it's very chill here?
I don't know if it's chill or not. It's just people grew up in a completely different pace of life. So where I'm living, there's a traffic jam outside every single day.
Okay.
So I have a friend who lives near here, and I asked him like, how do you deal with being stuck in traffic 20 minutes just going out of your house? And he said like, I live here my whole life, like 20 minutes, that's just normal. So I think part of this culture is also like, it's just like taking LRT or taking bus in Malaysia. It's very like, you just get used to it. The bus comes every 30 minutes, the bus comes every 45 minutes, sometimes it doesn't come. And then you're just like, you just accept it and like, that's my day. If you go into it with a Singaporean mindset, you would assume like, like, why isn't the traffic smooth? Why am I not driving at a normal 70, 80 km per hour? But here is like, jam is like just so normal. As a visitor to Malaysia, as a Singaporean, you're like, the traffic's so bad. Like you come here with a very negative mindset of like, everything should be fast. But you have to remember like, it's just a different place and like people here are like used to it. I would say like, yes, it's annoying, but also like, that's just the way of life. I'm not saying it's a good thing, like it's horrible for the environment, but I think after moving here, I'm just not so negative about it anymore.
And you told me you have a camper van in Malaysia? So later you help me show your van.
I will.
I want to know about the general like working culture here.
I would say the stress is very different. In terms of the work, like in the office itself, I think it's a bit more chill. I think in Singapore, we have I wouldn't say it's good or bad, but it's just different in the sense that in Singapore, I noticed we like to work hard and play hard. So in Singapore, it's very like, I'll go to work at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. And then I will just like, just fully like lock in and focus, get all my stuff done. And then like, if I can finish everything, I'm gonna leave early. I mean, like maybe that's just my experience, but that's how I found Singapore. In Malaysia, I find it's a bit different. Like for the work itself, it's a bit more relaxed. Like we are not rushing so much. We are not meeting deadlines so much. I think it's a bit healthier in that sense. If the project moves slowly, it just moves slowly. Like, no one is gonna like tell you like, work late and all this.
Wow, that's great though.
But there is another weird thing about Malaysia, which is that people tend to go to work at 9 and leave at like 6. Like it's quite structured, almost like Japan actually. Like,
is it?
So you'll notice that on the trains and the LRT, it's very crowded during peak hours. It's a bit different.
So I think a lot of people are interested to move here and work here. But one of the most important factors is the salary. Did you get a pay cut?
I took a slight pay cut.
If you only took a slight pay cut and now you're enjoying the relatively affordable lifestyle compared to Singapore, means overall good lah.
Overall good. But the cost of living in Malaysia, in KL, is actually very high. I don't know if you notice, like Again, like most people's salary here are like dollar for dollar what you get in Singapore.
What's the average, would you say? You're 35, 34,
Yeah, 34,
right?
35.
What's the average wage?
Well, I think a starting wage here would be 2,000 to 3,000, just like
Ringgit.
Singapore. And like I think if you are like closer to my age, somewhere towards a middle to senior role, I think you can ask for 5,000 to 8,000
Ringgit, right?
ringgit.
Okay,
Maybe
okay.
probably more. I think if you're a senior role, more than 10k.
Oh, can I?
Yeah. But again, like
10K is still difficult in KL, isn't it?
it is very difficult because if you think about it, you're earning 10k in Singapore, you have a pretty good life
Yeah,
in
you do,
Singapore.
you do.
You earn 10k in KL, it's not that easy. Yeah, again, like dollar for dollar, you imagine you go for like a Starbucks in Singapore versus a Starbucks here. In Singapore, you're paying, I think, like 8, 9 for your coffee. Here, you're paying like 15, 16, maybe
yeah,
17
yeah.
ringgit. So like you are like your salary, even if you're earning like twice the number of Singapore, your coffee is twice as expensive.
Yeah,
It's not that easy.
But then do you think it's the life here not so exciting because it's quite similar to Singapore? Lah?
So it's the same in Malaysia. It's very like if you're an adventurous person, if you like to look for things to do, 100% you're gonna find much more things here. Way more things here.
Because you said you're gonna do a road trip soon
I'm
with your
gonna do a road
van.
trip soon.
That cannot really do in Singapore. Lah. I mean, can is can, but it will only take 2 hours. Do you think you can show me your van?
Yes?
All right,
100%.
cool. Wait, is that your van?
This is
The red
van.
one. Wow,
the
so
van.
cute, huh? So tell me about this van.
So this van, interestingly enough, I bought 6 years ago. It is from KL. I have repainted it. It did not look this nice when I got it. So when I first bought this van, I think I paid 8,000 ringgit. I mean, if you think about it from Singapore brain, like 8,000 ringgit
Dream
is
come true.
a lot of stuff. for
Got
8,000
COE?
ringgit. So the paint on the van cost more than the van itself, which is just crazy.
Wow,
So I did the
nice.
wiring myself, which is why it looks so amateur.
So you can actually sleep here.
Yes. So there's a solar panel on top.
Oh, solar panel.
And an aircon at the back. So
Wow.
all this like junk wiring you see is basically the solar panel charging a bunch of batteries at the back. And that lets me turn on this aircon, which gives me 3 or 4 nights of air conditioning.
Wow, so DIY.
So I installed this aircon because after I bought the van, I went on a road trip to Port Dickson. I slept there for one night and I came back covered in mosquito bites. And I was like, nope, we are gonna sleep with the door closed.
So where did you travel in Malaysia so far?
This van has been to Penang, it has been to Malacca, it has been to Port Dickson, it's been to Kuantan, to Terengganu, it's been to Cameron Highlands, surprisingly.
Wow, so fun.
It's been to Genting, which is crazy also. This van has been to like, I think, 70% of the Malaysia map.
Wow, that's the beauty of Malaysia. You can do something like that. Can you just park anywhere in the road or?
You can park pretty much anywhere you want.
Safe?
Safe, probably. So the reason I bought such an old van is that when people see it, they generally don't disturb you.
I wanted to ask you about safety here because a lot of Singaporeans, they have this impression that, of course, compared to Singapore, not as safe. What's your experience so far?
My experience so far is that you try not to make yourself a target. So, and the reason I say that is because Malaysians also break into Malaysians' cars. If you drive a nice, like a Honda Civic or something, a flashy rims, and you park somewhere, Malaysian car, someone's gonna come and steal your rims anyway. So
Just basic stuff like don't put your bag inside, your LV bag and all that. Can I go inside? Wow, wow, this is so cool.
So this is my first home.
Wow, yeah, you can live here, man.
First question I get is, where's the toilet? Second question I get is, where's the kitchen? So my answer to that is that in Malaysia, there's toilets everywhere. And in Malaysia, there's good food everywhere. Yeah, so
Yeah, true, no need lah.
don't need lah. The other question I get is shower. I think most people know this, but maybe some don't. Like the highway that goes from Singapore to Thailand through Malaysia, like the North-South Expressway, there are showers in every single rest stop.
Very easy to do a road trip then, huh?
Yeah, correct.
All right, makan time.
Yes.
So you're taking me to one of your favorite eateries.
Yes.
How's driving in Malaysia in KL? Is it like more stressful than Singapore?
It is less stressful.
Really?
Because in KL, people give way to you.
In Singapore don't?
In Singapore, people don't give way to you. In Singapore, you kind of have to squeeze your way in because no one is going to let you cut in. Parking in Malaysia is definitely one of the country's biggest challenges. But I would also say that it's because everyone is looking for the free parking. So
okay.
I'll give you an example. There's this area called Sri Petaling where if you park along the road, it's free, and if you park in the mall, it's 2 ringgit.
Okay.
The mall is empty and everyone is double parked outside.
What do you miss most about Singapore?
I think the thing I miss the most is that you have a lot more time after work. So here you spend so much time in traffic after work, the public transport. Is after you get home, you don't feel like doing much. It's already like 8, 9 p.m. I think that's something that I really missed is in Singapore, I'm home around 7 and I can put my things down. I can go hiking, I can go climbing, I can do whatever. But here it's like you get home late and you just want to lie on bed.
I guess how Singapore is so efficient. So much more own time is created, I guess.
Just time to develop your hobbies, time to learn something. You're just too tired here. You're exhausted.
Andrew, can I ask you a sensitive question?
Yes.
I'm foreigner, so I don't know the dynamic, but it seems like Singaporean and Malaysian always fighting online. My question is, did you feel racism towards Singaporean?
I think I'm very blessed to have met the right friends. They're surprised I'm Singaporean, first of all. Secondly, people here are just so helpful. Like, I don't see anything that I'm seeing online. I haven't felt it much.
Alright. Andrew, nobody's gonna guess a Singaporean drive this car in Malaysia.
Yep.
Very local already, huh?
Well, no one is gonna break and steal my handbag. This is called patin tempoyak. Patin is the name of the fish, and tempoyak, if I told you what it is, maybe you don't want to eat it, so...
OMG. Yeah, I was prepared for, like nasi lemak and beef rendang and all the staples.
But it smells nice.
Okay, I'm getting scared, man.
Satu kepala, satu ekor.
Oh, you speak fluent Malay,
Sedikit je. Sikit je.
A bit. Do you need to speak Malay in KL?
It depends on where you work. But in KL, if you say need, no.
Oh, English okay.
Yeah.
Wow, look at this place, so local. Wow, how does this work? Is it a buffet or?
Basically, you take rice, and then you take whatever dishes you want, and then they'll come and count it.
Okay. They go by the weight or?
No, just by what you choose.
Eh?
Like cai fan.
Wait, so if I make a mountain versus take teeny bit, same price?
I honestly don't know. This is very they go by the vibe.
They go by the vibe.
Yeah, they go by the vibe.
Alright, lunchtime. Andrew got lots of unfamiliar things for me. Wow, you're so local, man. So what's this? It has a fermented smell.
Enjoy.
Very strong. Itadakimasu.
Itadakimasu.
Sour. Hey. Durian.
Yes.
Fermented durian.
Fermented durian.
Okay, first bite, the acidity hits you instantly. Then there's this familiar, deep, smelly, amazing flavor. Is this a KL thing or like?
So it actually comes from towards the east coast of Malaysia. So I think Singaporeans are familiar with where Genting is. So it's a few towns after Genting towards the east. A place called Temelo. So that's famous for this.
And what kind of fish is this? Like, it looks like catfish.
So this is patin, which is a shark catfish, I think.
Okay, let's try the fish.
So whenever I post a picture of tempoyak on my Instagram, all my friends comment like, "Wow, orang Cina makan tempoyak," which translates to like, "Oh, Chinese person eating tempoyak."
Oh, it's not a Chinese thing.
It's not.
Oh,
so
yeah, lots of Malay.
Even like Malaysian Chinese, very few of them actually eat tempoyak.
Yeah, it's good. I think they will like it. Well, I never had something like this. Super interesting. Andrew, you're lucky because I'm a Jipunglang who can take durian. Like if a normal Jipunglang eat this, well, he will faint, because cannot take durian and you ferment it. Delicious though. Thank you for the introduction. So what do you most enjoy about life in Malaysia?
Definitely being able to go to like the most beautiful beaches around in like just 3 hours drive.
East Malaysia is beautiful. I went to Perhentian Islands a long time ago when I was doing a work trip. Beautiful. Do you feel like you found yourself after moving to KL?
I feel like I never lost my sense of self. If you ask my primary school teachers, I had one maths teacher which put in my report book like, he should pay more attention in his studies. But I am not worried for Andrew because he has a very strong idea of what he wants to do. I think I'm kind of like that. Like I told you I was a bus captain. I think what I haven't told you yet is that I dropped out of uni. And then back when I did my O-levels in school, I could have gone to a junior college, but I chose to go to a polytechnic. So all of this stuff, I never told my parents. I told my parents after I got accepted into polytechnic. I told my parents after I signed the paperwork to drop out. But I will say that, my parents, I have to give them all the credit for trusting me. When I told them I dropped out, they never tried to call the school and make him take it back or whatever. Yeah, actually, I remember very clearly what my dad said to me, which is I hope you know what you're doing. Which in his own way of saying that, I think I'm just really happy that they trusted me.
What did your family say when you say you want to move to KL?
The same they said for everything else, which is they said nothing. They just kind of let me go,
do your own stuff now.
Yeah, which I think it's not easy. I mean they don't say anything, but I think if it was anyone else's parents, they would be worried sick. I'm really grateful that both my parents they just trust me with it.
Do you see yourself staying in Malaysia for long term?
I would like to stay here until I've at least seen the whole of West Malaysia. After that, I don't know. And for myself also, firstly, I'm easily bored. Secondly, actually, I really like to solve problems as well. So it's a bit of maybe once I feel I've seen everything, I've done everything, then I'm gonna go look for my next adventure.
So no plan to return to Singapore for now?
Before I left for Malaysia, one thing went through my mind, which is I don't think Singapore needs me. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that Singapore is full of talented people. There's a lot of interesting problems out there in the world. So I don't think Singapore needs me, and I mean that in the best way. Surprisingly, Malaysia as a bigger country has more problems. But most of the people who can solve these problems are working in Singapore. I had a lot of Malaysian colleagues back in Singapore and they said why are you going to Malaysia to work? And my answer to them is always because all of you are in Singapore. So from the day that I bought my van, I've always been inspired to drive to the UK because I have
Malaysia.
seen, if you go online and you look, there's photos of Singaporean cars in the UK, there's photos of Indonesian cars in the UK.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, so I've always wanted to be one of those
with that van.
With that van. There's a bunch of reasons why it can't be done, or rather why it's not safe or it's risky. But at the same time, people have done it.
Yeah.
So I'm the kind of person who's going to look at the people who have done it.
Then you can do it. You must be able to do it.
If they can do it, then I can do it.
Thank you, Andrew, for introducing me to a super local place.
Welcome.
Fermented Durian. Not bad. I mean, it's delicious. And thank you for inspiring many of my viewers. I think we need more of someone like you, someone who's ambitious, daring, and just enjoying life. I mean, look at your van.
And it can be done. I think most importantly, people need to see that it can be done.
Thank you, Andrew. Enjoy your stay in KL. Thanks, Andrew. All the best.